We got our hoser finally with us. We've missed you, Alex.
Missed you guys too. Sorry.
We've been trying to get you for weeks now, and you're finally getting a break where you can do this.
Yeah, we've been running hard. It's been great, but it's been intense.
You've been busy.
Huh?
You've been busy.
That's right. It's a good thing.
You've been making a lot of clothes.
Hey, so the first order of business, Alex, do you have a beverage in your hand?
I do not.
A beverage.
And I'll tell you why.
Word on the street is you got last night.
I'm in 100% recovery mode right now. As a matter of fact, if I take another drink, I think I'm going to have to go get one of those IVs like we did in the Keys.
Oh.
You know the best way to feel better is just to keep drinking.
Just to clarify for the viewers, we meaning Bryce and Alex, not Kris and Bryce and Alex.
Yeah, see that.
Here's a cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers to your recovery, sir.
We're drinking an awesome bourbon, right? Bourbon?
Here, whiskey. I got to shout this out real quick, Alex. I might bore you to death, but so this is a Texas whiskey. This is still Austin. This is one of my homies in Pearland, Texas, has a liquor store called The Art of Liquor. His name is Carlos. Carlos got to go to Still Austin and pick out barrels that they would barrel his very own Art of Liquor.
So meaning picking out barrels, he made a blend.
It's a blend.
Yeah.
So that's typically what people outside of Kentucky are going to do, is they're going to pick blends of whiskey, blends of bourbon, and put them together so it makes a delicious bourbon.
This one's really good. It's not very strong, really. It just tastes good.
It's just rich, man. I think it's got some good flavors, and it's full bodied. It's a full bodied whiskey.
It's full bodied and bushings.
But really, go check out The Art of Liquor. If you're ever in Pearland,
the barrel that they put it in, was it cherry con? Oh,
I'll tell you.
No, we don't know that, Alex.
It doesn't say. It's 58%. The barrel was dumped in 23, at the end of 23, in October of 23.
There's no information.
But it doesn't tell you anything. It's just a limited release because Carlos got to go pick out the barrels. Swashed it around and made a good whiskey, man. It's really
as a bit of homework, we'll find that out for you, Alex. We'll report back.
Still Austin's got an interesting story. You should go check out their story.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a really good master blender there.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, but she is renowned in the industry.
I hear good things.
Just right outside Austin, Texas.
Okay, we should probably get down to business. So, Alex, we're going to make this episode hose focused. Okay, is that fair to say? Hose focused.
We've got hose.
Yes.
Area codes too.
I know you do.
Hose.
And I will warn you, Bryce has brought a couple of parts, so save just a couple of minutes for us, Bryce. Bryce.
Whatever your name is.
Alex. It's like my mom calling my brother. See, I'll find out your name. I know who
Richard.
you are. You live here, and I'll find out.
Hey, Harry.
Through the Rolodex.
So give us a few minutes, and we'll still just a little piece of thunder.
All right, but you guys are going last this time.
Yeah, of course.
for sure.
This is about you and hose, Alex. That's what this is about.
But you got to sit down and talk about it.
And every week after week, we talk about bolts, and we just need some hose in our life.
I agree. You can't ever have enough. And it's been a while. So since I was on this podcast last, I would say we're probably doing double, maybe close to triple, the volume that we were. And so it's been busy, and that's
well. You had a lot of stuff in the shop even then, so that's saying something.
Yeah, and it's gotten even better for us. So it's we're adding people to the mix, and we're adding all the measures for quality and everything, which we need to talk about. We just got our ISO renewal for 9001. Both of them.
Congratulations.
Did you have any findings?
No findings. I mean, that's almost unheard of. So
now, Alex, you probably need to divulge the whole truth on that, though, right?
What's that?
So
I didn't even have to pay.
You both thought it was first, and then the same auditor went the next day to audit Alex, and I might have slipped in a few cliff notes to help him out.
Yeah.
Because you know how auditors, they'll focus on a few key things, right? And and that's just their style. And if you can pass on a few words of wisdom and help out our gentleman Alex. So he did fare a little better than we did, but I would contribute to my. I had a little contribution in there, Alex.
I'll give you a little credit. Just we did a really great job of getting, everything. We didn't try to pull wool over the guy's eyes at all either. I mean, this is how we operate. But
I was kind of proud. When you go through those things and you start uncovering all your systems and your processes, you really don't look at them every day like as a whole like that. And when you look at them, I walked away thinking, man, we kind of got our shit together here a little bit. Yeah.
Those things are something that, we always think, oh, we got to go through this audit. But every time I do, and it's a good auditor, it's always a good experience. Like you always come out with stuff, and that can help you. And so we
that's the key, you said it, is having a good auditor, right?
Yeah. So
some auditors will come in and their whole goal
InterCert, do a little
for InterCert. Yeah,
InterCert for audits for your ISO, great company to work with.
John Strahan, Mr. John Strahan.
The quality journey with you. So,
dude, look him up on iTunes too, man. He's got some jams out there.
Yeah, did you know that, Alex? Do you know he's like a Zydeco type music?
No, I did not.
Almost like who Wayne Toops is, right?
Yeah.
Very much like Wayne Toops.
Okay, Cocaine Wayne.
Good voice. He plays, I guess where you would call it, where you're from in Arkansas, a squeeze box, but
Louisiana.
We would probably call it no, he's from Arkansas, South Arkansas or North Louisiana, one of the two.
Really?
Squeeze box or accordion, but a very common Cajun instrument.
Big time.
Yeah.
It is the only instrument.
Very characteristic. So John plays that, and I think he plays some other stringed instruments as well, like a guitar, maybe a banjo, which Bryce loves to frequent from time to time.
Cool. Yeah,
exactly. Go ahead, Alex. The floor is yours, my man.
All right. So I've been spending quite a bit of time lately. We've had some really interesting orders come through the shop, and more and more, we're helping customers, whether they be an end user or a distributor, mostly distributors, but I end up speaking directly with their end users because it just, cuts through the middleman. And we get drawings like this, constantly, with a drawing that, is hard piped, and they had planned to put expansion joints here and here in this system. And there'll be pumps here and here. And this is the suction side of a pump, right?
Yeah.
And this is actually a 12-inch line. It's pumping diesel. But they expect it to be operating at 485 degrees, which I thought, wow, that sounds pretty hot to be pumping diesel through, but I guess they can do that.
Yeah.
And so they can't use a rubber. They can't use a Teflon, or something like that. So they have to go with a metal hose. And so what they were going to do was get these really expensive expansion joints. These are called universal expansion joints. And they were going to put those in their line. Their problem is they couldn't afford to buy the expansion joints that they needed at the lengths that they were going to have to buy them at to give themselves enough lateral displacement of their piping. So I said, well, why don't you just use a hose then, And so now we're redesigning this thing, and they're going to flange behind this 90, and we're going to run a hose, and there's an eccentric reducer right here on each one of these. And now they're going to replace this expansion joint that cost them a lot of money with a hose that cost them a lot less. And they're going to be able to get their lateral displacement that they have on their pump. They're not going to have to reset concrete and do that kind of thing that was going to be really expensive for them to do. And they still get the vibration absorption and that sort of thing, and they get full vacuum rating on the suction side of their pump. So
you just solve a problem, man.
Yeah, simple little solutions. When people start trying to engineer these types of things, and they think that they need these really intricate type expansion joints and that kind of thing, a lot of times you can get away with just using a braided hose. You have full vacuum rating. You have pressure rating that's going to get to where you need to go. We can help, with suggestions so that you can design it that way. So what I wanted to kind of go into is, and I don't want to get too nerdy, but
yeah, I mean, really, your basic message here is, if you have any lateral displacement, the answer is just to get you a couple of hoses.
That's right.
Okay. Just wanted to recap.
Lateral displacement, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just for everyone sitting at home that doesn't understand, what is lateral displacement, Alex?
It's a change in elevation between point A and point B in your piping system that's not allowing for you to hard pipe it. That lateral displacement could have been designed that way because it's a gravity fed type system, or it could have been accidental, which is
So misalignment in layman's terms, misalignment, right?
misalignment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Misalignment, but it's really just a change in elevation in particular.
Yep.
You have angular displacement that could be a change, in the piping coming together at an angle instead of straight. So there's different types of misalignments, but with a hose, you can take care of a lot of that at an affordable price instead of having to try to reset equipment and reset the foundation of that equipment, and all that stuff gets really timely and costly. So,
Or use a very expensive expansion joint, like your example, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, things get over-engineered because there's just, not the knowledge of, hey, this is an option too. And so we try to offer, our customers the most economical option that they can get that's still going to work just fine for their application. And most of the time they listen, and it's great. It's a good thing. So
Little baby hose you got there.
this is a little 1/2-inch hose. We go down to 1/4-inch. And, when I go out in the shop here in a minute, if I can get my phone to connect to the meeting here, I'll show what a 1/4-inch. I mean, it's, smaller than my pinky, that 1/4-inch. And,
Got a big pinky out.
we stock, just for an example, if it's got one layer of braid over it, and what I mean is that small hose has these convolutions in it. That's the tube that's coming in contact with the media, right? That's the flexibility part of the hose. The braid is the pressure retaining part of the hose. And so you can have a single braid, a double braid, a triple braid, even a quadruple braid. And each braid layer means that you're adding pressure rating to the hose. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, for example, a 1/4-inch that we stock in a single braid is rated for 2360, but a 1/4-inch in double braid is rated for 2832. So a lot of times what happens is I get requests from customers and they say, I need a double braided hose and I want it to be flanged with 150-pound stainless steel flange. Now, I got one today like that. And they said double braid 1-inch. And I said, okay, here's a double braided price for a 1-inch, which is a lot more expensive than a single braided 1-inch. And the difference in pressure rating is 796 versus 955 for the double braid. The problem is the flanges are only rated for 275.
Right.
So you didn't do yourself any good by double braiding that hose because the assembly itself is rated for 275. So we go from having fittings like this is a stub end where they're going to put a nut and a ferrule. You guys have seen these before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for high pressure stuff. A lot of times they use it in lab settings or pharmaceutical settings. It's a really clean, smooth bore type of fitting, and it doesn't retain any of the media that's going through it in the bore of it. And you've got an NPT. So all of these different fittings have their own pressure rating. Outside of what the pressure rating of this hose is, the end fittings, have their own pressure rating. And so that's how we determine the pressure rating of the assembly once it's all put together, right? So
Alex, when you talk about pressure rating of a hose, is that assuming at ambient temperature? Is it like a flange, like in B16.5, where they have pressure times temperature curves?
That's right.
That's at ambient, right?
Yeah, that's at ambient.
So as your temperature goes up, the pressure rating goes down.
Correct. There's a pressure derating chart for every metallurgy,
Right.
And so if it's a 300 series stainless, then we know that it can go up to around 400 degrees F before you see any temperature derating, and that's the same for a bolt. The tensile rating will start to derate.
Quickly. Yeah.
So it's the same concept. Metal, is going to start degrading at the same temperature, regardless of what the geometry is. So sometimes we'll get the request, hey, I need this hose to perform at, say 500 psi, 500 degrees F. We know we're going to have to choose a hose that's, 600 or 700 psi at ambient to be able to derate down when it gets to that 500 degrees F.
Yeah.
So this is just an example that we keep around. We actually keep it around to show people what not to do when installing a hose and trying to smash it. But for this,
so the story on that one, right, was they ordered the wrong length, right, and they tried to install it. Yeah.
They tried to install it, and the craftsman tried to smash it together, which is natural. I've done it before too. And what happens is the braid springs out, and then you've now derated the hose from its pressure rating because the braid is not tight against it anymore. And so it's got room to expand.
Yeah.
Longitudinally and out.
So to clarify, the customer specifically ordered that length. We provided it exactly as they wanted. And
right. Yeah, we ended up doing it like half an inch shorter, like the next day.
Yeah, we just made one real quick and provided it. Yeah.
So, but the reason I had this one wasn't really to talk about that. It was to talk about, like, this is a 3-inch, and it's like the size, 3-inch, and I was talking about a 1/4 inch a minute ago, and we were talking about north of 2,000 PSI, and that's not even a heavy wall one. That's just a normal metal hose, north of 2K for a 1/4 inch. 3-inch, for example, is this is rated. The hose itself is rated for 355 with a single braid on it, like this one has. But the flange is only rated for 275. 150-pound pressure class flange in stainless is only rated for 275. So I guess I'm just trying to drive home the point that whenever you're talking about pressure ratings on hose, there's lots of factors that can come into play, but a lot of times I see customers specifying something that doesn't really make a lot of sense, and they're paying probably more than they need to and waiting probably longer than they have to. And so we try to make suggestions, to help them alleviate. And this is a great example of that, because 3-inch just happens to be right there at the 300 PSI mark, and the flange is only 275. And the goal is always, we try to get the hose to rate the same as the fittings or greater, but that can't always be achieved. So.
Yeah. What is the maximum pressure of a quadruple braided hose out at ambient temperature?
Oh man, we've got the pressure is going to change on based on the diameter. So a 1/4 inch is going to have.
So let's say a 4-inch. 4-inch.
4-inch.
Yeah.
4-inch would be 1250.
1250. Really?
It's not that high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means, if you had a flange on there that was a 600-pound flange, then the 600-pound flange is rated for 1440. So now you've got the hose rated above or almost to what your flange rating is, and you've kind of maxed out, the best of both.
Sure.
I don't seem to be able to get this phone to connect, Chris.
That's no problem. That's fine. That was cool, Alex. That's a lot of good information. Sure. I think people learned more about hose than they thought they would when they woke up this morning.
Probably so. Probably more than they really cared. But hose are very.
I wouldn't go that far. I think sometimes we struggle to get technical content on this podcast, and we certainly have delivered today.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think just you providing solutions is the most important thing I picked up today. I mean, because people always misdesign things, right? I mean, it happens every single day. And so if you can provide a little bit of information to customers to help them with lead times and pricing, I mean, that's what's going to set you apart from everyone else.
It highlights the technical aptitude that exists
without a doubt
in the Patriot group.
You're just not an order taker. You're a problem solver.
Alex knows much more than anybody about hose.
He's the hose master.
Maybe not anybody, but he's certainly in the top 3, I would bet.
I am pretty much a hose expert. Yeah.
You're a hose guru.
And that's why we love you, Alex.
You can almost call you a pimp.
Yeah, you could.
The hose pimp.
We should make you a shirt.
That's right.
That would be awesome.
I am representing the bolts and hose on the back.
Look at that.
I don't know about you guys, but when I wear this shirt out, if I'm on an elevator, it's like a huge topic of conversation. I love it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had a guy. What was he doing? Some contractor that came in this week. He was working on the new building, and he saw the sticker here behind us on the wall. And he said that was brilliant. He said it was genius.
Yeah.
So, the most amazing thing
either you get it and you think it's genius, or you have no clue what this means.
That was what I was just about to say. How many people have not seen that movie and have no clue what it
There's
is?
a lot of people, I think. I think a lot of people look at it and go, "What the hell are you guys talking about?"
Hey, one thing I was going to show you guys real quick, and I'll just take my laptop to do it. So we're about to put up a couple flags of the bolts and hose graphic, and we just put an American flag.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. He unplugged it. Alex is gone. We have to restart the podcast.
Oh wait, he's coming back. I think he switched to his phone.
They call that the Cajun Wi-Fi.
Continue on a new
track.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now. Yep. You just cut out.
You can see me.
Like a video from 1984 though.
So here we've got one of our fabricators, Ivy. Wave to the camera, Ivy.
Oh, look at that flag.
So can you guys see our big American flag we just put up?
I love it, man.
America, baby.
Huh? Hey, look at all these hoses. Look at all these hoses we have on the ground.
Woo, dogs everywhere, man. Good night.
Lord.
It's a lot of hose, man. Got hose bending everywhere.
It's a lot of hose, isn't it?
That's a lot of hose.
Got hose.
Yeah.
Hose.
So Chris is like, you guys aren't busy. I'm like, I'm telling you, brother, we busy.
I believe you, man. I can see the numbers.
Yes, the UPS number's on it. The UPS number's on it. Sorry, guys.
You're okay, man. It's only 4 people watching today, so
It's fine.
it's all good.
They don't care.
So I'm just going to show you one more thing, and then I'll let you guys take the stage.
That's a nice big ass fan you got up there too, Alex.
It is. It's beautiful. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for that thing, we may not be able. Can you guys see this beautiful painting?
Hey, shout out to Valley Forge for giving us a great deal on that big ass fan. We shipped that all the way from Phoenix.
That painting is epic, by the way.
That's the most awesome thing I've ever seen.
You like that?
What is he
Hey,
doing?
look. That's his friend. That's his buddy.
I can see
Are
that.
they spooning?
Yeah, they're spooning a little.
I don't get that.
There are certain things that only happen in Texas, and then there are things that only happen in Louisiana. This is one of those things.
It's a great conversational piece.
No
I'm
kidding.
sure it is.
Yeah.
To the right person, too.
I'll get it. We have to sell.
I'll give you $1,000 for that right now, Alex.
Done.
Well,
Alex paid $4.
since we paid $3,000 for it, I don't think that's going to work.
No way. You bought it for $4.50 at a garage sale. Yeah.
No, you know what is Jacob has a full body Yeti suit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a full body Yeti suit that he wears for Halloween, and he was going to pick up furniture a couple weeks ago, and he saw it on Facebook Marketplace in the same little town. He was going to grab like a love seat or something, and he had to go get it. So we hung it up right in the entryway.
And so now he dresses up as the Yeti and you dress up as the raccoon.
That's right. That's how it
You
works.
know, it's funny. We had some customers come in today, a new customer that had never been to our place before. And our place is a little different, right? So our sales office now is in a brewery.
It's an eclectic office.
And it's great. It's kind of modern, but it's a little, eclectic. That's a good word. So we've got lots of props, and you can see the sticker on the wall behind us. But we've got a putting green in the middle of the floor that is kind of a stress reliever sometimes. Yeah. It's a concrete floor. So we left the brewery theme. We've got a bar in the corner and a big Texas flag with some hops on it.
Yeah, a brain.
So when these customers walked in, you can imagine, Alex, that, I don't know what would have happened if we'd had that Sasquatch on the wall, but it was probably be close to the same reaction.
What happened to the piece?
I don't know. I only saw those two. Bryce is bringing in the parts, Alex. Do you mind if we spend 2 minutes to talk about some parts?
Yes, that's fine. Let's make some small talk.
Every now and then we'll go out to the shop and find some cool stuff. Today was no exception to that. Yes, Alex, small talk. Bring it on.
Now, I'm just going to ask, do you guys just go randomly pick parts out of the shop, or do you literally set these parts aside for the podcast?
No, I go out, not at all.
I go out an hour before, maybe 20 minutes before the podcast, and I just go grab parts.
And so I think some of the guys are like in a routine now where they'll save some parts to give to Bryce or hand to Bryce. Or they're working on something cool and they're already waiting for Bryce to come by to give them a part.
So, Alex, I'll let you choose today. We're going to start with big or small.
You got to go big or go home. So let's go.
I knew you were going to say that. Go big or go home.
Chris, help him hold that up.
I know he's straining right now. You should hear the noises he's making right now.
All right. So, Alex, what is this?
I don't think I can say that on the podcast.
It's a bolt, Alex.
It is a threaded bolt.
All right. Yeah, I see the threads now. Sorry, I was so focused on the head. I couldn't tell.
I know.
So I think what we showed one last week, a big socket last week.
Yeah.
And this is about the same thing, except it's got this big crazy chamfer on it. So they haven't mill drilled the socket in yet. So they've just done all the turning operations to it. Danny, what size is this again? 2 1/4?
2.5.
2.5, 8. What do we start with? 3 3/4? 3.75, and it's B16?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Man,
B16.
you guys are doing your homework now. Remember how we used to fumble around and guess?
You should
this
never
thing?
know.
And we were always wrong. Now it's like we've got like Jamie in the corner giving us.
How many pieces do we have? This is a
I
lot.
believe 60 or
Oh,
60.
see, he's just making stuff up now to make it seem
No,
like we're just talking about.
there's like 2 pallets full of these things out there right now, man. It's all over the place.
60 pieces.
And they had to get coated, right?
Yeah.
They're getting Teflon coated.
These are going to be beautiful.
These are going to be
Are we making an
badass
extra one,
ones.
Danny?
Yeah, I told Connie.
We got to make an extra one for Vegas.
So B16, special socket, going to be coated, the whole 9. I mean, this is as special as it gets right
It's going to be beautiful.
I mean, just look at this part.
We're going to
It
put
is so
Patriot
badass.
Bowl and the flag on the top of that.
So I just have to ask, like, what is the purpose of the acorn look on the top? What are they using?
I think I have a theory, and I think it's accurate. So if you think about the socket that fits over that, right, and you've got the hex on the top, I think that additional clearance, they can put some additional meat on the socket and make the socket stronger so they can get some more torque, so they don't twist it off. And I think allowing that clearance, because if it was straight up and down, I think you would have a thinner wall on the side of the socket.
I think a piece of equipment goes over it.
Well, you're wrong, and I'm right.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're using it as a ramrod.
Team Ramrod, go.
It could be, Alex. You may be onto something there. I didn't even cross my mind until you
It'd
said
be
it.
really cool if they were using that to load cannons. Something cool.
That's true. You never know.
It's a cool little part, right?
Look, it's a stud, and it has, would you say,
You can't even.
an unthreaded end, and then it's got some flats milled on it.
So it's a single threaded stud.
Yeah.
A single end stud.
So
Right.
it could be considered like a elongated head.
I just think it's a single stud with flats milled. 4 flats.
Well, yeah, of course, that's what it is.
It's exactly what it is. Hey, Alex, what material is that?
Oh, it's got to be B16.
316. You're so close.
So
316.
See how shiny that is? Look how shiny that is.
B8.
B8M. B8M.
Well, if the customer calls,
I knew it was B8M.
if the customer calls out ASCM standard, it's B8M. But if they do not,
Yeah.
it's 316.
It's actually 316L.
Stainless steel.
So this is-
L, low carbon.
This is manufactured from 316L round bar.
Nice.
So pretty cool part. I mean, just very different.
Alex, how much carbon content does an L grade material have?
Low.
Yeah,
That's right.
True.
But what's the carbon content, do you know?
Let me look up my chart real quick. No, I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Maybe, what is it, 0.04 or less?
For high carbon.
For L grade.
Yeah, below.
It's
A low 0.04.
Yeah, it's less than
Okay.
not including .04.
Right.
Less than.
I knew that.
Check this Bad Mo Pro out, dude. This thing is crazy right here.
That is cool. Some
So-
bench flats on it.
Okay.
So this is all metric. So this end and this end are the same. They're M8, I think 1.75 if I'm not mistaken. This is an M12. You have a little shoulder here. You have a collar here, and then they're not done. I think there's 3 holes. They're drilling 1 hole here, 1 hole here, and 1 hole here.
And
They're
there's
drilling
milled
through this.
flats right
And there's
there.
milled flats, yeah.
So the
right
wrench
here.
flats in the middle. That's
Wild
crazy.
part. This is a wild part.
You just think about what that's going on in the application.
Is it reverse threaded on the opposite end or something from one?
No, it's the same. It's the same thread.
Oh,
Same thread all the way through.
it's pretty odd.
Right hand thread all the way through.
I'm wondering if that's being used to tension something together. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, most threaded parts are.
I bet it's going into a mining application. It's my guess.
Yeah.
I think food and beverage.
Maybe. But so what material do you think this is, Alex?
Oh, I don't know. Titanium.
304 stainless steel.
So B8.
B8. That's right.
All right.
You know that's right. So this is actually an old customer that came back to us out of nowhere and threw this part at us. It's a cool part.
I like it. You know,
When you see a drawing too, that's one of the things is like you see a drawing, you don't appreciate how cool a part is. And then you actually see the part and you're like, wow, that is a very intricate part.
you know, one of the cool things that we do, Alex, is like we see something new every single day. Like, it's very rare that we repeat a part, honestly.
You know, we repeat some parts. I mean,
We do, but I'm just saying the
Yeah, but
majority
there's
of what we
always-
do is just variety all over the place.
you could walk out of our shop pretty much every day and see a new part.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
It is. It's
Ours is very similar. You know, I mean, we do see some repetitiveness, which is great. You know, but it's a lot of different unique stuff.
Yeah. So we do big.
If you don't mind, just real quick before we wrap this up, pick that second part up that you had again.
Second part. So the plug.
Yeah,
Single end plug. Okay.
man, I'll tell you what. I've seen stuff like that before, and those things do not play well with a crescent wrench. Not at all. You know.
No, I don't think you use a crescent wrench on that, Alex.
Yeah. Those wrench flats right there will throw you for a loop if you try to use a crescent wrench on it. So
No.
Yeah.
safety moment. Use a box wrench on that.
Yeah, you know, that's not designed for a socket either because of the rounded corners. So you're going to have to use a wrench on that. I bet they have a special socket made to tighten that. Is probably what the deal is.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, because you know, why wouldn't you make the flats a perfect square then? Because you didn't have more traction for your wrench to grab and you'd be able to torque it a
But
little
so
more.
you never know what they're doing. It could just be a test plug, right?
I think it's going in a round hole. It's recessed in a something that's countersunk, right? And they've got to get the socket right inside that hole to be able to tighten it.
Yeah,
You never know.
could be.
I mean, we did a very similar part for a refinery this week. We made a test plug with a specific pitch diameter. So it was like a 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 8, but they wanted the PD bigger than a standard PD. And so we made a test plug for them and everything worked. And then now we're making it was like some big step studs. So you never know what it's for. It could just be for a test.
Yeah,
Right?
It could be.
I'm telling
No telling.
you. Could be a personal project, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be going to like an adult bookstore in Houston. You never know.
Hey,
we do.
what is the coolest material you guys have made something from? Have you made anything out of like silver, gold, or something like that?
I mean, coolest or most expensive? I mean, is there?
I think they go hand in hand in my opinion. But
Well, Nimonic 80, 660, MP35N, really hard stuff.
So we got some parts in the shop right now. We actually have a couple orders for wasp alloy.
You know, Bryce is going to roll his eyes at this, but we've made some bolts and nuts out of PVC before, which
Yeah.
there's nothing really exciting about that.
That
But
is boring.
it's cool to see that plastic machine on the same machine that we do make metal parts on.
We actually had a guy, this is a young lady came in and her grandfather passed away and she wanted us to make some bolts out of her grandfather's leg bone. That was probably the wildest one.
Wow.
Milling a human bone is,
That's not true.
no, it's not.
He almost had me for a second. Did that really happen?
That would be funny. Would you do it?
Do it. Absolutely.
we put a machine shop in Louisiana. That's going to be a common occurrence. So
Yeah, no. You probably see that every day.
You'd have to take a few extra minutes on the setup there because you don't get an extra piece on that.
Yeah,
You're like
exactly.
one and done.
Very careful.
no test
Yeah.
piece, huh? Well, there's 2 legs. I mean, hopefully, you know.
Hopefully.
But you know, we've done I really like aluminum bronze and silicon bronze. You know, those are gorgeous gold parts.
Gold parts, yeah. Titanium's always my favorite just because it's so light. You know, you can just hold it. It's light.
Not the
strong.
funnest thing to machine though. It's kind of gummy and you got to run it at the right speed. Can't stop in the middle of it. It's not as easy to machine.
Danny, what's your favorite material we've ever made a bolt out of?
Wasp alloy.
Yeah, see,
Wasp alloy.
He went with wasp alloy as well. Wasp alloy is crazy, man.
You just like saying wasp alloy.
It's fun to say.
That's word.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Wasp alloy.
wasp alloy.
Let me. Have you guys made
And bronze.
anything out of like the higher nickels, like I don't know, C276 or?
That's all we
Yeah,
do,
like-
man. What are you talking about? C276? Yeah.
We poop out C276 for a living, Alex.
Hasselhoy B,
That's not like
Hasselhoy
every day.
C.
800H.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. Inconel 600.
Inconel X,
Alloy
right?
X. Yeah.
Yeah, Alloy X, yeah.
Has to.
Wow.
Yeah.
You name it. Cool. we do it, baby.
We've done it all.
Alex, I'm disappointed you didn't drink a drink with us today, but I understand.
I'm going to drink an extra one just for you, Alex.
You know, I'm just being honest. If I didn't have a baseball game to attend tonight and I was helping coach that game, I probably would, but I got in trouble last time I did that. So
If you coach youth baseball, you absolutely have to drink before you coach.
I got in trouble last time, so I'm not going to do it again.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It was frowned upon.
I hope you get the W.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a great weekend. Shout out to Austin, who's on vacation.
And
He's,
Jamie.
And Jamie's out on vacation.
Yeah,
Everybody else?
Nope, that's it. Got Chavez, JB, Ali's in the building, Danny.
Yeah, got everybody.
Got some newcomers coming on Monday, so it's going to be a full shot.
Hey, if you're going to keep that bar in the building, you might as well put some kegs under it.
You know, we have whiskey all over it, so the bar is getting used.
There's a refrigerator
There'll
and
be some room for some kegs too, you know.
it's not a bad idea, man.
That's not
It's
a bad idea. Yeah.
That'll be next week.
Congratulations on the ISO, Alex. Have
Likewise.
a great weekend.
Bolts and O's, baby.
We will see you next week for episode 59.
59.
Next week.
See you, brother.
All right, fellas. Have a good weekend.